Have you ever wondered about whom you really are, apart from what you and what other people see from the outside? Do you feel there is more to you than what you can offer? Have you identified the true purpose of your life as well as the direction you're heading to? If you're still searching for these answers, then you've come to the right place. The journey of self-discovery requires a lot of groundwork and can be daunting at times, as it involves revisiting a lot of your past experiences, choices, and emotions. Therefore, this video will guide you through all the details you need in your journey to discover, awaken, and be your true self. This includes identifying your personality, awakening your spiritual dimension, learning to love yourself, as well as embracing change. It will no doubt trigger confusion, doubt, and misunderstanding, which will force you to make decisions that will affect your life. For this to work best, you need to trust the process, but you'll find that it'll be worth it all as you turn out to be an entirely different person from where you first started off. Therefore, before embarking on this journey, you need to set your focus and be prepared by practicing the following. 1. Being completely honest with yourself. This includes acknowledging both your strengths and weaknesses. 2. Trusting the whole process and embracing the change that comes. 3. Staying positive. First, you need to be completely honest with yourself. Acknowledge your strengths as well as your weaknesses. Learn to use them to your advantage, and most important, to get to know your true self better along the way. Second, you need to trust the whole process. There is no use in embarking on this journey if you're skeptical of the things you need to do in order to progress and discover yourself. With that, you'll also need to change your old ways of thinking, reacting, and most important, living. Trust that the change you are experiencing is for the better. Last but not least, always stay positive. You attract the kind of energy surrounding you. If you believe that this journey will eventually bring out the best in you, you're right. If you believe otherwise, you're also right. Whatever the outcome is, believe that you are in control of it, and it's all a matter of perspective. There's more to you than you think. In this chapter, you'll take the very first step in getting to know who you really are by conducting a self-assessment and going through the necessary steps to go deeper into your personality. Often you may have heard children or even sometimes grown adults asking the question, "Who am I?" This leaves one in a state of confusion, as each and every one of us has already assumed a personal identity of our own. As simple as it may seem, discovering yourself merely does not mean what you like to eat, drink, or wear. It involves much deeper elements than that. Surprisingly, most people do not really know themselves, even if they claim so. Knowing yourself requires a deep connection between you and your thoughts. If every man knew himself well, then he or she would not be dealing with so much confusion, depression, or frustrations. Why self-discovery? Self-discovery is essential for any human being at any stage of life. The more you discover yourself, the more aligned you are on your life path. When you discover the positive traits within you, eventually you'll also feel confident about who you are and embrace who you become. Therefore, if you want to lead a happy life, you have to set free the chains that bind you in search for your freedom. You have to be certain of what exactly you want from life. Understanding what you want will set your focus, and you'll be clear of what you need to achieve. The very first step in discovering who you really are and what you're meant to be is by the means of self-assessment. This method will only be effective if you're brutally honest with the answers you're providing yourself. Start your self-assessment by describing yourself using 25 different adjectives. Include both positive and negative traits. This exercise is important owing to the fact that you are undertaking a truthful exercise. Dig deep down. Uphold the utmost honesty. Allow for self-rediscovery. Provide an explanation for every trait you've listed down. Explore each explanation in depth. The next step is to consider your likes and dislikes. This is important to allow yourself to identify any potential issues that may help you discover the root cause of your likes and dislikes. It'll help in preventing the repetition of bad behavior. Keep in mind that failure to learn from your past will only make you prone to repeating them. List the activities you love doing. Which books do you enjoy reading? What are the types of people you surround yourself with? What are the activities you enjoy during your free time? When you've discovered all your likes and dislikes, start writing a journal to collect your thoughts. For a whole week, write down all your emotions, actions, and thoughts that you might have. Write down what you feel most comfortable doing, without much effort, but is also very rewarding to you. A journal is different from a diary, as your journal contains your personal thoughts and reflections. Answer these 5 questions and record your answers in your journal. These questions will help you in discovering yourself and to get in touch with your inner thoughts and feelings. It can also help you make choices in your private life, working life, and in relationships. 1. Describe what you believe is truly important in life. 2. Describe what values you uphold in life that best reflect what you believe in. 3. Describe your dreams and what you would want to achieve for yourself personally in life. 4. Who is your mentor or major influence in life, and how do they help you make decisions? Why are they an important influence? 5. What do you consider as your greatest achievement in life? In your journal as well, write down 5 childhood memories you remember which gave you the feelings of deep joy and excitement, both as you anticipated them and later as you experienced them. If, for example, eating an ice cream on the beach was a special childhood memory which made you skip with joy and anticipation, then take your family or your friends and enjoy ice cream on the beach with them. If you enjoyed going on a trip in your family caravan during the holidays, then hire a caravan. Take time to go and explore and relive the adventures with your own family. As adults, the responsibilities of our lives sometimes rob us of simple pleasures that give us joy. No journey of self-discovery is complete without looking at the person we were as a child and comparing it with the person we are now as an adult. The experiences that shaped our personalities are rooted deep within your childhood moments. Spending time reflecting on them is an excellent way to rediscover our inner self. Another important step for you to take in discovering who you really are is by meditating. Meditating can be a good way to tap into the subconscious to understand your inner self. It'll help you answer questions you have related to life. Meditation's important in making or deciding the path in which your life should take. Sit in a quiet and peaceful place and be engrossed in your thoughts. However, you should not be discouraged if you do not seem to get the right answers right away. Keep on practicing, and in the end, you'll finally get the answers. When you're meditating, the brain enters a theta state. When you are in this state, you encounter very minimal interference from the conscious state of the mind. All of the exercises described represent an opportunity for you to search for answers you've been looking for. Keep in mind, you should not be too hard on yourself and be patient. Don't force the answers, but have a receptive and open mind. This will help you discover yourself better. Hello and welcome back. Previously, we discovered the steps to take to kickstart your journey of self-discovery. In this chapter, we focus on understanding your personality type in order to discover who you are. Personality development is a powerful tool to take you to greater heights you never have possibly imagined. It will also help you improve on many aspects of your life, which include your social and emotional health, as well as your financial well-being. From the previous chapter, you've already been guided through the steps to understand who you are better as a person, as well as giving you an idea of the type of personality you possess. Before you get on to personality development, you need to first identify your personality. What type of personality are you? What are the strong and weak points in your personality traits? What are you doing to improve on your weaker traits? What initiatives are you taking to enhance your strengths? When these questions are honestly answered, you can move on to the next step, which is the actual personality development. The first thing you need to do for your personality development is to spend enough time with yourself. This will help you be in touch with yourself, and you're able to learn more about who you are. Personality types are classified into 4 different temperaments. the introverted and the extroverted, the one who thinks and the one who feels, the one who uses judgment to conclude, and the one who uses keenness, and finally, the one who prefers using senses, and the one who uses discernment. These different temperaments usually determine how one will react to various situations and the choices one will make. These are personality traits that one inherits from parents and relatives. No wonder you find some of your traits and your likes and dislikes similar to those of your parents or relatives. There are some personality traits that we pick up along the way as we grow and live our lives. As we grow older, we pick up habits, values, and beliefs that are dependent on our upbringing. However, the traits we pick up as a child tend to make a lasting impression on us as compared to the ones we encounter as adults. When you've identified your personality type, you get better understanding of yourself. You're able to maximize your potential and use it to your advantage. For instance, if you're an introvert, you can channel your talents in ways that suit your personality best. You'll also have clarity in your communication with others. You'll learn to compliment the other party. For instance, you may be the one who thinks before they act and is very keen as opposed to your friend who uses spontaneity and quick judgment. You'll manage conflicts better and improve your existing relationships. This creates harmonious relationships. You're now ready to forge the way forward. Clearly state the development you want to see within yourself. You need to be realistic and strict at the same time. Don't be too hard on yourself either, as being unrealistic will cause you disappointment. Also, keep in mind not to be too soft on yourself either, as this will slow down your personality development journey. Remember to forgive yourself for all the mistakes you've ever committed in life. Trying to do personality development with a grudge and a bitter attitude towards yourself will be useless and will get little to no results, as your mind and attitude are hindered by the past. View all your past failures as a stepping stone to your future success. Personality development also demands flexibility. You can't be rigid and expect personality development to work for you. Be open to whatever requirements personality development has. Be flexible and realistic towards your goals as well, because you might need to make some adjustments along the way. You need to be honest with yourself on your personality type. Observe the strengths and weaknesses of your personality type. Do your best to focus and build on your strengths. For instance, if you're talkative and confident, use this to your advantage and let this trait boost your career and ambitions. You also need to identify your weaknesses in a very honest and open way. Work on your weaknesses by making conscious efforts. For instance, if you struggle with pessimistic thoughts all the time, then find a way to focus on positive things. Tune your entire being to personality development, and the journey will be a smooth sailing from there. Make it even easier by illustrating what you want to achieve. Picturing or illustrating what you want to achieve helps to keep your progress on track. It's advisable for you to make a daily checklist and set your goals in milestones. This way, you will obtain your goal in a consistent and realistic manner. At the end of the day, everyone has different personality traits that make them unique. No person's the same as the other. These traits are what set individuals apart. The environment in which we grow up in and the people we mingle with shapes who we are. When undergoing personality assessment as well as development, being honest with yourself is important. It's necessary because it'll help you to identify your true, weak, and strong points alike, so you're able to use them to your advantage. When you're in tune with who you are mentally, physically, and emotionally, your journey to self-discovery becomes an easy journey. In this chapter, I introduce you to the amazing subconscious mind. You see, your subconscious mind controls all the vital processes of your body. It already knows the answer to your problems, and it already knows how to heal you. That's why we oftentimes have conversations with ourselves. Our subconscious is constantly talking to us and often answering itself at the same time. We may, for example, remind ourselves we have an important exam the next day, and our subconscious reminds us we need to study for it. This is called a positive self-talk, and for many occasions to come, this type of subconscious actively can be life-changing. However, there are times when we might trigger a negative reaction. For instance, instead of studying for it, we let our anxiousness and nervousness take control. It repels us from taking the proper actions. Even though the subconscious mind is a highly complex zone, it's possible for you to interact with it using the inner voices that dwell inside of you. It's that part of the brain that deals with your sensitive insecurities. That's why it's difficult to take control of the subconscious mind. Although it's impossible for you to take full control of it, it is, however, possible to attain partial control. So, how can you achieve this? There are 3 simple steps to doing it. The first one is by constantly leaving physical reminders. For instance, if you're on a goal to lose weight, write down the do's and don'ts to achieve your goal. You can write them on a piece of paper, journal, or even place it on the wall. With it, you can control your subconscious mind with the repeated reminders. Second one is through meditation. This step helps to control your subconscious mind through a series of mental concentration. It may be hard to concentrate during the initial days, but with time you can achieve it. In meditation, you don't visualize anything, you just concentrate on your thoughts by emptying it. All you have to do is relax yourself, close your eyes, and gather all your thoughts to a single point of concentration. Once you have achieved relaxation, open your eyes slowly and affirm to yourself that you are at peace. The last step would be visualization. Once you've managed to concentrate on meditation, now it's time to visualize your goals. It gives you the motivation to achieve your goal. You can only control your subconscious mind once you visualize your goal. Learn to visualize the act of achieving your goals in your mind. After all of these steps, make promises to someone you trust so you're holding yourself accountable to achieve your goal. It can be anyone close to you that you share the same sentiment or dreams. Inevitably, you will often receive both positive and negative feedback from them. Both will leave an impact on the subconscious mind. In addition, by having an optimistic attitude, the negative feedback serves as an urge to deliver the promises. In time, a positive attitude will help tune your demeaning habits. Do you know that most of the habits in you come from your subconscious mind? Ever wonder how you ended up creating a certain habit that you're not even aware of its origin? Say, for example, your drinking habit is getting out of hand. You could easily blame your surroundings and the people you grew up with. What's more, if you know it's detrimental for you, why are you letting it pass? See, what you need to pay close attention to is how these habits did grow. By constantly repeating some actions or thoughts, you have grown accustomed to the habit. After several times, it will be reflected to your subconscious mind. The end result would be in the form of acceptance. Your subconscious mind accepts it as part of your daily routine, thus it becomes a habit. A positive habit will turn your subconscious mind into one of the most powerful allies to achieve a powerful mindset. Most people don't know how to manipulate their subconscious mind or the power of their habit. However, if you can use it to its full potential, you can find solutions to almost any problems in your life. Even though the subconscious mind works 24 hours a day, it becomes active on the passiveness of the conscious mind. How do you use the subconscious mind? Here are some strategies that will help you to learn to use the subconscious mind. First, notify the problems you are having by asking your subconscious mind to seek for it. What you need to focus on are the solutions to the problems. Remind the subconscious mind by repeating the problems that you have been stressing on, searching for answers. Visualize the problem to find the solutions. This is what we call the input step. Next is the processing step. For this, you have to relax your mind by involving it in activities that are not stressful to you, be it listening to music or doing sports. The aim is to avoid stress. The more you can avoid stress, the more easily you can find definite and positive solutions to your problems. Finally, it's the output stage. After the subconscious mind seeks a solution to the problem, It lets you know by giving you a certain feeling. The most important thing for you to do is to understand and process the feeling. The fact is, most of the time you may not even pay much attention to the feeling born by your subconscious mind. Sometimes it's vague, like images or simple thoughts rolling in your mind. So next time you're experiencing this, remember to take a step back and process that feeling. It could lead to the answer you're seeking. For this chapter, we focus on the duality of your personality, optimism and pessimism. Both are two contradictory terms which always create inner conflict. Every time you want to make a decision, it'll be there, influencing your mind and manipulating your speech. How would you know which decision or task is best for you? Thing is, you don't. But it doesn't mean you can't differentiate between the good and the bad decisions in your life. Both are highly influenced with the positive and negative attitude you let dominate in your decision-making process. No matter how life puts you in the most difficult of times, you know you want to stay positive no matter what. Staying positive in a negative world will not only improve your life, but it'll also change it in more ways than you can ever imagine. One good example for this is unemployment. Why? Well, the frustration and depression reflects on your cover letter. An employer can easily observe a low self-esteemed person and the opposite. Most low-esteemed people have lesser productivity, thus causing most of their job rejections. That's why some people who lose their job get a new job within a short span of time, while others have to wait. So how can one stay positive in a negative environment? One good technique is to jot down the positive things that come to your mind or that exist in your life. The trick is to do this on a daily basis in a journal. For instance, write the names of people who love you, all the possessions you have acquired these years by sheer hard work. Also, jot down at least one positive thing you've done in the day. This feeling is important to stay positive in a negative environment. On days when pessimism is likely to set into your mind, engage yourself more in outdoor activities that interest you. You might be a little hesitant at first to go out, but once you go out and engage yourself in outdoor activities, you'll start thinking positively. Engaging yourself in your interests isn't a waste of time, rather it's useful for your mental health. Start small. If you're unsure of any sports, take a walk. Make this a habit to release all the negative energy while taking a breather outside. It's better than being cooped up in your room all day. Slowly, you'll start to look up other activities to help channel your positive energy throughout your body. Some people will always come at you with negative intentions, but that doesn't mean you should respond with a similar attitude. To ensure this, all you need to do now is to maintain that positive momentum. As mentioned previously, there are times when life doesn't seem to work well for you, and that's okay. Always start your day with 3 simple steps. First, at the beginning of each morning when you wake up, immerse your mind in positive materials. You could read positive quotes or listen to motivational talks. The whole idea is to ignite your day right with positive energy. In fact, going through all the positive things you jotted down previously helps too. If reading's not your cup of tea, then listen to speeches and talks. Charge your morning with nothing else but positive energy. Second is to speak positively. Words carry power and energy, especially those which you say to yourself. It gives off the perception you create towards an event or occurrence. For example, when you drive out to work and you get stuck in a traffic jam, you have a choice. Do you curse and swear at your predicament, or acknowledge that there's nothing that can be done? Might as well make the best use of the situation. Consider the 2 outcomes. One involves swearing, the other may involve singing in the car while going through the jam. Third, accept responsibility. This is by far the most effective but difficult thing for people to do. Accepting total responsibility is very powerful. This means that whatever your life is today, you are responsible for it. Whether you're rich or poor, healthy or not, it's the culmination of all the decisions that you made and did not make. Accepting total responsibility creates personal power. And because you always have a choice, you can change the course of your life. You just have to decide by exercising the responsibility on your life. As you can see, positive thinking is a process of consciously thinking and expecting positive and good results in all aspects of life, be it finances, health, relationships, and so on. The thoughts and focus is on the positive outcome, and through this, you'll feel all the good vibes. This positive energy will have the ability to move you forward even in difficult times. But what if you just can't help it and you perceive yourself as a pessimist? Well, you can change your outlook and thought process if you want to. However, keep in mind that it won't change within a day. It truly depends on your time, patience, and willingness. You'll find challenges if you decide to change, and more often, the challenge will come in the form of your inner voice. In pursuit of adopting a positive mindset, your inner voice may become your biggest sabotage if not managed properly. Always keep that in mind. Hello, and welcome to the 5th chapter. In this chapter, you discover one of the most important elements in your journey to self-discovery is learning to embrace who you are and practicing self-love. This is proven to be one of the most difficult things to do. Do you feel you're not good enough? Everything you do feels like it eventually amounts to nothing, so you don't even try? You find yourself spinning in a downwards spiral because you feel like you don't measure up? For those who feel this way, this might be their reality or truth. Research has shown that the feeling of unworthiness is one of the common contributing factors of various health complications. Self-discovery is greatly dependent on whether you practice self-love. Love for oneself is a great asset one can have in life. First and foremost, you should ask yourself, who are you? To a very large extent, most of us are deeply engrossed on the day-to-day hustles and bustles of life, until we forget who we truly are and appreciating our self-worth. Do you love yourself? Most people would probably evade the question, but it's an important and valid question which, if we could all answer yes to, would change the way we feel about ourselves and give us self-confidence to achieve the dreams and desires we have for our lives. It's also about accepting that we have our own special place in this world. Feeling unloved and unworthy is a very lonely feeling. If you can't find anything to love about yourself, you're probably struggling with self-love. Learning to love yourself is possible. To love yourself, you must challenge the negative feelings inside the center of your thoughts. We must acknowledge that our self-worth and self-acceptance are about the person we are, the person we are comfortable being around when everyone else has left and we're alone. We must realize by the end of the day, we are all we have. The first step to self-love is to take the time to sit and write all the things there is to love about yourself. Be honest as possible. Do not let toxic thoughts hinder the process. Do these 5 simple things every day, and you'll find yourself thinking very differently. 1. Write down positive qualities you possess and read them aloud to yourself often. 2. Learn to self-care and do something every day that you enjoy. You deserve it. 3. Look in the mirror and learn to love the person looking back at you and tell him or her every day that they are loved and why. 4. Fill your life with people who love you and tell you often what a special person you are. Accept their words and their love without questioning it. 5. Embrace who you are and all the qualities you possess. Another important step to take is to identify what are the things others do for you that make you feel loved. Do you like to have people give you special gifts or to send you cards and messages assuring you that you are loved and appreciated? Maybe you're the type of person who appreciates a hug as a way of feeling loved or really enjoys spending time with your spouse or best friend. The way we give love to others is often indicative of the way we want to be loved ourselves. Most couples enjoy expressing their love to each other. However, many of us have yet to learn a golden lesson. Often what makes us feel loved is different to the way others give and receive it. Learning what makes our spouse or children feel loved is the key to experiencing deep, passionate relationships. We all enjoy being told that we are loved, but for some people, the spoken word isn't enough. Telling your spouse or child you love them but never following up with the things that make them feel loved can create feelings of confusion and concern in even the best of relationships. Learning to recognize the things that make us feel loved and then identifying what the significant people in our lives need to feel loved is a beautiful self-growth adventure that will improve the relationship. It takes a little time and effort to learn how to do this, yet as we learn and use this simple technique, our relationships can be transformed. We all have room to grow and develop, and the most liberating truth of all, that is, each of us is unique and beautiful. There's no one quite like you on this earth, and there never will be. Once we accept this, we can then focus on ways to improve ourselves. Without appreciating this perspective, it feels as if we are constantly striving to find self-acceptance externally instead of willingly and wholeheartedly accepting ourselves for who we are. This creates an unhealthy dependency on external validation. A person who only feels happy when people praise him or her will never genuinely feel happy because external praises will die down and it's not long-lasting. People can't be praising us 24 hours, 7 days a week. An old African proverb reminds us, if there are no enemies within, then no external enemies can cause harm or hurt. This means that if we are at peace with ourselves, then whatever events or occurrences that are perceived to be bad and negative will not affect us unless we allow it to. Always remember, you're worth it. Embrace all your strengths and weaknesses, as those qualities make you unique and who you really are. Thank yourself for bringing you this far in life, regardless of the outcome, because you know what? You're still alive. It's time to introduce you to your very own pillar of strength, the act of self-renewal. Think about your life today. Is it where you want to be? Think in terms of your relationships, habits, finances, spiritual well-being, and even work. All these things impact on the person you want to see yourself as. As children, we're often asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Teenagers dream about their perfect relationship, and young adults plan their next overseas holidays. As maturing adults, we need to recapture our desires and dreams. At this moment of time, do you find yourself focusing on the things you can't do and lamenting the fact that you can't do them? Do you wish you could do some things you enjoy doing better than you can do them? Most of us have these thoughts and handle them in different ways. Some just continue to do them, and some approach them differently. So instead of focusing on what you can't do, focus on the things you can do and work on doing them even better. All you need to do is make a life inventory and write them down in every area of your life that is important to you. For example, ask yourself these questions. 1. What are my goals and dreams? 2. How do my goals and dreams fit into the circumstances of my life at this moment? 3. Where can I find resources to help me achieve my goals? 4. What needs to change so I have time to achieve my goals? 5. With whom can I share these goals with so that I have someone to be my cheerleader as I embrace my goals? Each of these questions help your insights, your ambitions, and goals to create a practical way to work towards achieving them and embracing the life you want for yourself and your family. Why? Because most of the time your goals contradict with your current situation. If you have a family to take care of, you'll worry if constant pursuit of your dream will take away the time spent with them. Before you let things get out of hand, always take a time out. One of the most important aspects of self-renewal is to reflect and reinvent your focus through the act of isolation. Isolating yourself from the current situation you're in is the best method to regain control of yourself. One of the key benefits to time out gives you the chance to take a step back and decide how to move forward in your life. When you're in the middle of life and all its responsibilities, it's easier to focus on survival and not on achievement. So take the time out each year to remake some life goals. If you're doing it with a partner, try to schedule alone time during your retreat as well as time together. Second of all, time out is not a selfish activity, but a time to be critical and honest about yourself and your life. The focus is to improve your relationships and to help your family and friends. It gives you the opportunity to evaluate what you're doing currently and how you can improve it. You can always discuss with your partner, decide on taking the time out together or individually. If children are involved, try to get the help of grandparents, siblings, or friends. Finally, it's not an act of running away. Taking a few hours or a few days out of your busy schedule is not running away from your responsibilities. Rather, it's an opportunity to develop a new enthusiasm so you can keep running towards them. So choose a location that will help you to relax. Whether or not it's close to home, the key is to relax and refresh. Don't bring anything with you that will serve as a distraction. If you take your cell phone with you, have one that does not tempt you to check your email or spend time on the internet. But remember, you don't just take a time out without a purpose. The whole idea of this act is to renew your self-esteem, goals, and priorities. Only when you're in the state of peace and relaxation can you truly focus on what must be done in order to achieve your goal. Most times, your goal will affect the people around you. Always take note of that. So, when you arrive at your timeout location, here are some guidelines to help you focus. 1. Evaluate what caused you to feel sad and happy as you review your life. These will help you focus on things that need addressing in your life. 2. Celebrate the things you have achieved and goals you have accomplished. 3. Create action plans for those things you feel sad or dissatisfied with. Take time this week to enjoy and appreciate the things you are good at, particularly the ones you believe you can do well. Take advice from your partner or your friends if you're not sure where your strengths lie. Enjoy focusing your time and energy on helping the good become the best, and then enjoy your achievements. Allow yourself to enjoy comments and appreciation of your work. Remember, being happy is a choice, not a pursuit. The world's most effective life teacher is experience. Each of us has developed a set of values that determine how we think and feel about life, including the right and wrong behaviors. When we see others doing things that are outside our accepted behavior parameters, we usually react in a negative way. We act the way we do mostly because it often originates from our childhood experiences. However, learning to accept what is wrong to us may not be wrong to others is an important part of personal development. We may not agree with their choices, but we respect and allow people to be themselves. They have values and ideas that may differ from yours. This is what experience is trying to teach you. Most conflicts occur because the people around you are different. You don't know them as much as you think you know yourself. Uncertainty causes anxiety, and if it is not threaded carefully, anxiety can turn into fear or even worse, dispute. So when we interact with people who are not from a similar background, it's inevitable for us to be frustrated with them. We cannot always control our reactions to the behaviors of others, but we can learn to control the way we see and respond to them. The way we control and respond to these behaviors will reflect our understanding toward life itself. There will always be criticism and frustration. Criticism is an attack on our self-esteem. In an instant, we will take a defensive stance to protect ourselves from a painful experience. We sometimes apologize for our behavior or those of others. We even look for ways to blame others for the situation. So, what are some of the positive ways you can respond to criticism or bad experience in general? First of all, look at the incident as an opportunity for learning and self-growth and not as an attack on your self-esteem. Then always make an effort to forgive the person. Much of the anger that arises from criticism has the risk of becoming a grudge. Actively seek to work with them to negotiate a solution you are both satisfied with. Another thing you can try is to take a step back before you respond. Thank them for their words and tell them you will consider and discuss it with them on another occasion. This approach enables both of you to rationalize your actions further. Think about the criticism. Ask yourself if it is justified. If it is, then seek ways to prevent the situation from recurring. And if it is not, take steps to refute it calmly and preferably with evidence. Finally, don't dwell on the criticisms, but move on. Your value's not determined by one piece of criticism. So how can we present our point of view without creating a bad reaction in people? The key is to learn to see the situation from the other's point of view and address it from within their viewpoints as well as from our own. We can still express our thoughts and feelings about a situation using this approach, but it usually produces a very different outcome. This technique is an excellent way to approach all communication, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or strangers. We learn to express our thoughts, concerns, and ideas, and even disagree with others. We always find ourselves acknowledging verbally and physically, even if the other person is the one causing the disagreement. This approach maintains a mutual relationship between both who acknowledges neither of their opinions is more valid than the other's views, perspectives, or thoughts. This doesn't mean that both sides are equally valid, but by conveying their understanding, the other person has a right to the opinions about the situation that caused the disagreement. This approach values the relationship and validates the person, while not necessarily validating the problem or the suggested solution. There's an old saying that states, "You will never know another person until you first walk in their shoes." Trying to approach and diffuse a situation from their perspective enables us to walk in their shoes in this situation. It changes the "I want" statements, which presents the issue from our perspective, to the "I know you feel this way, and I can understand why you do, but may I present another idea or show you why that idea is not the best one?" As we learn and apply this technique in our lives, it becomes obvious we have gained insight into an extremely important life lesson that validates and maintains relationships, even if we don't agree with the other person. It helps us to approach potential conflict situations in a non-confrontational way that promotes discussion and resolution. You see, whenever you feel like life's going in the wrong direction, basically you've got two choices. You can either accept that there are things in your life you cannot change, and there are things in life you can. When you believe that you can change a certain aspect in your life, then you must not wait for things to change, but you must work at changing them. Many of us are aware of things that need change. However, we procrastinate on making that change to improve it. If we leave it be, it can control our life. So learn to act and think positively until you've learned to experience and deal with your feelings without being pulled down by them. Experiencing your feelings enables you to rise above your feelings, then logically decide what action to take. Welcome back. In this chapter, you'll be guided through the concept of the law of attraction. How do you exactly practice the law of attraction, and why is it so important? Do you know a person who's always happy and positive about themselves and life in general? They never seem to have a problem, and they're able to deal with things in life with composure and grace. Do you wish you were more like them and able to deal with your life circumstances like they do? These people have a way of seeing life as the half-full glass, where even if things are going downhill, they find something positive to focus on. This way of viewing life is natural for some people, but for the majority of us, it's a learned response. It results from making an intention to look at the positive and to not dwell on the negative. Unfortunately, it sounds so easy, but in reality, difficult to execute. How do people learn to focus on the half-full glass and not the half-empty one and remain positive? It's not easy to be thankful when faced with difficult circumstances. However, practicing gratitude helps deal with the most difficult experiences we may face in our lives. It's the key to optimism and seeing the good in everything. Half-glass full thinking seeks to clarify a situation before complaining about it. It asks whether a complaint will make the situation better or worse, and if it'll help to resolve the issue. In most cases, the answer to both of these questions is no. A clear perspective on the situation can help us resolve a situation. Maintaining an attitude of gratitude helps maintain a positive perspective on most things that happen in our life. It helps to keep the glass half full even in the most difficult circumstances. The truth is, we're always surrounded by beauty. The challenge is whether we allow ourselves to see it, because life can be very distracting, especially if you live a fast-paced lifestyle. If you ever feel stuck, take a pause to be inspired by your surroundings. Some of the greatest paintings of all times were inspired by nature. Irises by Van Gogh, painted in 1889, was inspired by simple flowers. The thing is, these inspirations are free and ready for you to access them whenever you choose to. The key is to be present. The law of attraction in our lives has become the thing. Everyone wants to apply this law in their everyday activity. This is because all of us have dreams, and we would want these dreams to come true someday. Most of us want a successful life with plenty of achievements and happiness. We all want to have our desires to come true. Therefore, the law of attraction helps us to tune our minds and feelings to draw the lifestyle that we want. Here are steps to activate the law of attraction. The first thing to do is to describe the type of life that you want to be able to see in your mind's eye. When you want something, you should ask from the cosmos, and you should also have a picture of what it is. Recognition of your dreams and requirements first begin with forming a mental image of whatever you want. Visualization is very important because you're able to involve both your conscious and your subconscious mind. When you do this visualization process, it's important that you feel as if you already have it. The next part is to think positively. If you're negative, the law of attraction cannot be activated. If you want to achieve the success that you want, then you must be positive. Always think that there are different ways to achieve a goal. Positively affirming yourself is the most important thing. The third step is to practice gratitude in all circumstances. You should always be thankful and be willing to share the things that you have with others. This way, you'll be able to attract more. Always look at what you have instead of what you do not possess. Don't compare yourself with those who have more than you. Rather, focus your attention on others who are much less fortunate than you are and struggling to live day by day. This way, you learn to appreciate what you have. Now, the final step to practice the law of attraction is by learning when to say no to things that bring you more harm than good. Learning to say no is a powerful tool that many of us rarely, if ever, use. Learning to reject or say no to what will hurt or harm us in the long term is the key to understanding the amount of stress we carry each day and to feeling better about ourselves as well as the choices we make. As we learn to reject the things that harm us, we're more inclined to accept the things that help us. How can you tell the difference between what to accept and what to reject to help you stay focused and happy? You need to identify the causes of your distress. Focus on activities that positively energize you and avoid those that bring you down. If you feel happy baking during your free time and you find it therapeutic, find time to do more of it. If you feel being surrounded by toxic friends is wasting your time and energy, avoid or disconnect from that circle of friends. Growing through stress is sometimes not an entirely bad thing, and sometimes we do need to move outside of our comfort zone to achieve progress in our lives. The key to knowing what will produce good stress and what will produce negative stress is to have a life plan, and only accepting those that contribute to it. Now, all you need to do is take massive action and only focus on the good things in life. Hello and welcome back. This chapter will guide you through the steps in manifesting your dreams. You also learn the importance of controlling your thought process and believing in yourself. Our thought process plays a big role in our successes. Researchers have said that the concept "we are what we say we are" is a statement that greatly influences our identity. Our state of mind drives our actions. We achieve in life when we can visualize our success. It is at this moment our resolve, determination, and confidence kicks in. The first step in manifesting your dreams is by being realistic and focusing on what you do. Don't let yourself spend time focusing on what you can't do, but rather on what you're doing and what you can continue to work on towards your goals and dreams. No one ever achieved anything without dreaming and putting that dream into action and succeeding. Depending on how you use it, your thoughts can be your worst critic, but it's also your best ally. Your thoughts are partially responsible for your actions and behaviors. Therefore, you need to guard your thoughts. Bring to awareness both negative and positive thoughts and decide which to listen to. How do you decide? Simple. Keep the ones that empower you and discard those that disempower you. For those that keep coming up and disempowering you, you have to ask yourself why. If it keeps coming up as a pattern, there's a reason behind it. Observe those thoughts and find the root cause of it. The second step to put into action is to surround yourself with people who support your goals and dreams. Surround yourself with people who support your endeavors and ask them to help you counter your negativity. Nip it in the bud before it has time to cause you to lose your focus. The third step is to get rid of all excuses. All of us have something we really want to obtain but keep finding excuses not to. Maybe you want to start on a walking routine each day, but there are always house chores to do that must come first. Maybe you plan to take up golf, but there's always one more report to write for work. We are so good at making excuses about why some things are more important than other things, but the truth is, life balance means prioritizing time for the things we want to do is as important as doing the things we know we must do. We all know how important a diary is and the importance of scheduling our time and planning to achieve the thing we need to accomplish. In theory, we would love to execute each and every activity planned for the day as written in our diary, yet still we make excuses at the end of the day when we fail to check off everything from the list. One method to keep track of your unaccomplished tasks is by writing them down and stating the reasons why you did not manage to complete them. Be honest with yourself about the excuses you made to justify why you didn't do them. Maybe you felt too tired, or maybe you were fearful of walking that track alone. Maybe you decided to cook a nice dinner for your family instead of going to the movies. Maybe it's not as important as you thought it was. Everybody wants to be healthy, and they know that they need to eat healthily. It's scheduled in, but we don't take action on it simply because it's not top on our value list. Remember, excuses don't have to be negative. Excuses are really choices we make. Sometimes we make choices that are valid. Other times, our choices are a reflection of other things going on in our lives. Therefore, writing down our excuses is really about writing down our choices. Why did we choose not to do something? Did we simply choose to do something else? Perhaps we were able to modify a choice to make it more achievable. Once we understand the choices we make, we are in a better position to change our actions, attitudes, or behaviors if necessary to make better choices. Our choices are the essential keys to how well we prioritize looking after our mental, physical, and inner health. The next step is to ensure you are on the right track in achieving your dreams is by managing your time. Never underestimate the importance of 5 minutes. No matter how hectic our days are, we all have 5 minutes to spare in our day, and it can do so much to change our perspective on how we go through our daily lives. What can be accomplished in 5 minutes, and how does it help our journey to self-discovery? Practice these 3 activities within 5 minutes if possible each and every day. 1. Take 5 minutes each day to clear out some clutter in your life, maybe a work area, a pantry, or a garage. Allow yourself to enjoy the moment when you have completed it. Organizing helps us think clearer and set our focus. Research shows that people with a tidy work area achieve more productivity than those with a cluttered area. 2. Take 5 minutes to go for a walk and find something beautiful in your world you haven't seen before. It will open up a way to count the other blessings in your life that often stay hidden from view as we are often too busy to enjoy them. 3. Take 5 minutes to pray, meditate, or have sessions in your day where you reflect on yourself and your spiritual health and well-being. Never underestimate the power of 5 minutes in your life. Finally, focus on your strengths. Do you remember the story of the tortoise and the hare? We were often told that slow and steady wins the race, and there is truth in that. What is interesting about this story is that both the tortoise and the hare were using their natural talents. They used them to the best of their ability. From the point of view of personal development, take a closer look and see what happened in this story. When we compare ourselves to the tortoise and the hare, we can learn some important life lessons to help us in our endeavors. The tortoise did what he did best, to the best of his ability. He did not let circumstances overwhelm him, but instead he did what was asked of him, and he eventually found success. This simply means each and every one of us possesses different and unique talents. All that's left to do is to identify what they are and use them to their fullest potential. When we use them to our advantage, we can surely beat any circumstances and manifest our dreams. In this final chapter, I share with you the reason why to embrace all forms of change in your life. Generally, we view changes through limited perspectives. You either see it as a chance to grow for the better or as something that is to be avoided. This is simply because we are comfortable staying in our very own comfort zone. Changing all sorts of habits or activities is like getting out of it, and this is one of the toughest challenges to do. Who we are and what we're doing to our everyday lives become deeply ingrained in our minds. Changing it can turn out to be a tough task. However, in reality, most people have habits they would like to change, be it physically, mentally, spiritually, or even emotionally. To be able to make the change, focus on the behavior you want to achieve and not the one you want to eliminate. The only way to change it is to look back and look at the issues that may have been affecting your perception in terms of your behavior. This will help both your conscious and subconscious to work in harmony. You have to write and rewrite your perceptions that limit you from being a better version of you. Once you have the behavior that needs to change, then we can look at how to initiate and maintain a change. There are 5 stages of change before it happens. Pre-contemplation. Here, a person has yet to uncover their problem, and they may try to avoid the subject. Contemplation. The person is aware of their problem, but unsure if they want to make a change. They realize they should have done things differently, but they have yet to achieve it. Preparation. The person is ready to make changes. They're not completely willing to, but they are ready to change. This occurs when change is unbearable. Action. Now, in this stage, the person gets ready to make changes. Maintenance. The affected person has to learn to maintain the changes and is cautious not to relapse, or else they have to go through the stages all over again. Now, do you remember the last time anything major happened to you in your life? Are there any past events that made you sad, angry, at loss? When these things happen, especially when we feel betrayed or let down by the people we love, it's easy to feel like we can never trust people again. The effect of 1 or 2 negative things in our life can cause us to spiral down. We may even lose confidence in our own ability to make good decisions. Being stuck in the past and letting the past manipulate our future is a major reason many people feel that their life isn't progressing. That's why acknowledging it is the first stage of healing. If you recognize some incident in the past is affecting your present actions, it's wise to seek professional help. There are effective ways to help yourself. First of all, remind yourself again and again that the past is the past and nothing can be said or done that will change what happened. Having acknowledged that, perhaps the past is what's causing you to have negative thoughts. You can change them to positive ones by focusing on a new beginning. Then try to see yourself not as who you were in the past, but as who you want to be in the future. Write down how you want life to look like 10 years from now and write it as if it was a reality. Read it regularly and see how it changes. You'll be surprised at the result. Once you've acknowledged all the events in the past, take your time to plan and prepare yourself for the future change. This is you facing reality, and that takes courage. Not only will you feel great about finally facing the obstruction that hinders your growth, you'll learn to anticipate all possible scenarios by learning how to deal with them before they occur. Here are 3 ways on how to prepare for any possible changes that are coming your way. First, the higher the risk of something happening, the more we should anticipate it likely to happen. For example, people living in areas where natural disasters often occur are at constant preparation to any changes to their surroundings in the future. Second of all, contrary to what people may think, being psychologically prepared for change is possible. For example, it is impossible to know what it will be like as a parent, but we can prepare ourselves by reading and identifying possible areas of concerns we may personally face in our new parenting role. Finally, we can also learn to plan our responses and thoughts in times of changes and challenges. Doing so provides us with invaluable training. Learning how to deal with the many challenges and changes we face daily will help us to develop new skills to deal with the unexpected major ones. Think of all the possibilities in life if you could just learn to appreciate the changes that are happening within you. You can't expect to wait on life to make the changes for you. When this attitude of life will get better when something happens affects the way we live our life, we need to challenge those thoughts. We need to embrace the person we are now and see that the best resources are already inside us. We are the only ones that can hinder our own developments and achievements if we're in constant fear of change. By embracing the opportunities we have today, we're likely to achieve our goals and ambitions in the future. We have reached the end of achieving powerful mindset mastery. The one thing you need to realize after going through all of the important training of a powerful mindset is there is always potential in you. Your power is waiting for you to manifest and use it to the fullest. No matter where you are, who you think you are, and the circumstances you're in, you have all the resources to accomplish your goals. You just need to allow and give yourself permission to access those resources. When you start to implement all of the wisdom this training is offered, all your fears and insecurities will begin to dissolve. What replaces it is courage and knowledge. They're your companions to go through this wonderful journey with you. All you need to do is start with the very first step. Every journey starts with a visualization of your dream. From there, you need to grab onto your faith and believe. Slowly but surely, they'll help carve the path to your success. Here's to your powerful mindset mastery. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe to our channel, and we hope you have an amazing day.